Once you can see my screen, just let me know. Actually, go. Okay. Set something instrumental. Beautiful. So if you can see my screen, please let me know. Now, I promise that this class, okay. So to kick off this particular session, I'll be turning on my camera. And I believe most people might know me by picture, but not really see my face. But yeah, so this is me, and today we're going to walk through this particular topic. What we're discussing today is more like a zero to global hire, and it's something that I think a lot of us face particular issues around it. So if you don't know my name is Wamaka Wonsu. I'm the current CEO at Ivoryland, and then I am a serial entrepreneur. What this does for me is simply means that I have founded a couple of companies and I have almost a decade of experience across different fields, ranging from social media management to digital marketing to product design, UI, UX, HR, and then operations, and a lot more, just as many as I can touch. And if you tend to like look at my career trajectory, it means that I have touched quite a couple of things that lead me up to where I am, and then it gives me that exposure. Now, for the zero to global hire, one thing I would like to start off with is by telling you a short story. So, someone sent me a message in January, and this was the frustration. He had applied for a lot of jobs, and at the end of the day, nothing was coming through. And his frustration was, I don't have connections to get jobs in Nigeria, and I don't even have connections to get jobs abroad. And when he sent that particular message, I paused and I didn't reply for a while because the idea is a lot of us have been conditioned to think that to get a particular job, we need connections. And then in retrospect, I really don't blame us because coming from the society we exist in, it is believed that to get into any door, you need to know somebody. So even to get jobs, it then begets the fact that, okay, if I don't know somebody in this industry, how do I get in? And why this happens is for a lot of job openings, it feels like they already know who they want to give the job even before they put out the job post, and you're just applying for decoration's sake. And then in other cases, you might just apply and then it's a game of luck. After the interviews, you don't give or you don't get called up for an interview after you have submitted your CV. One thing I told him that day was apply outside Nigeria. I think a lot of us feel like, oh, we cannot apply outside Nigeria. I do not have the permit to work outside Nigeria. I don't know how that is going to work. What is the time zone difference and all of that. One thing I can say for free is if you're from another African country on this call, please pardon me. I will say this: Nigerians are very tenacious people, meaning that we don't stop. As long as there's a way, there's a door, there's something, we shall pass it. And that is very one thing we keep on doing. I think this year, if you have, for those that know me, I had a talk where I said, this year is to earn in dollars, and it's very possible we can do it because we can apply outside Nigeria and then we can work in these areas. Because look at it, you can apply to a job in London, you can apply to a job in Amsterdam, you can apply to a job anywhere in the world. And the funny part is, you don't even have to lie about where you currently are. All you have to do is explain in terms that are clear to your recruiters, and then you get what you want. The idea of getting a global job is because we believe that, oh, there's always gatekeeping going on in the industry. But in retrospect, there's no gatekeeping, especially in the global market, because here, you don't need connections, you don't need a contract. All you need is just a clear strategy on how to get this job. And I believe that for the global job market, what it has done for us is it has taken out this particular gate, and then it has positioned us in such a way that you can get anything you want. So let me walk you through the numbers first before we actually like go in, so that you understand what you're dealing with. Before we even look at these numbers, I will ask a question. How many people on this call currently have a skill, like a tech skill that can allow you work anywhere, or you're currently learning a skill that can allow you work anywhere? When I talk about skills, one thing I'm asking about, is it programming? Let's do it like this. Is it coding? Is it programming? Is it design? Is it social media management? Is it virtual assistant? If you have any of these skills I have mentioned, please go ahead and drop an emoji. Just drop an emoji so that I know that we're all on the same page. Just go ahead and drop an emoji. Beautiful. I see 4 emojis. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So that means that all of us on this call, we have skills that are marketable in the global world. And then it means that we can sell ourselves in whatever industry we decide to sell ourselves. So now we're looking at this chart in your screen. You can see that we have over 26 million remote jobs posted globally. This is not a trend. Like, I actually got this data, and even forming the notes for this class, I realized that there were some things I really wasn't looking at, but in getting this particular note ready, I realized that there's a whole lot that we are like, there's a whole lot people are missing out on just because we do not have the information needed. And then, according to LinkedIn, we're saying that remote jobs in Europe will grow to 135%, or it has grown to 135%, and then it is projected to grow more. Do you know what this means? It means that the market is going higher. And then remember that, especially for data tech skills and for certain skills, these are skills that are high source, and a lot of these talents are coming from the African industry, because Africa as it stands is the next workforce. We have the next workforce to power the world, and these skills are being taught rampant like in most African countries right now. So the idea is, it's not that we don't have talent. The problem is we mismatch visibility. And then we have different apps, different systems that can help you get this job you're looking for, because Africa is producing the next workforce. And the best thing anybody can do, aside having these skills, is to make sure that they keep themselves updated. More like, what do I know? How am I going to carry this out? And how is this going to happen for me? So in the case where you say, oh, I've been applying for over 200, or I've applied for over 200 jobs, and then nobody has called me, nobody has sent me a message. I think the next question we should ask you is, what exactly have you been applying for? The idea is, most people take one CV that they have, and then they apply to 20, 50 places, the same CV. You're forgetting that some applicants, some job boards have a particular system where they keep your CV. And then if you use one CV to apply for social media manager, that same CV, use it to apply for customer service. The same CV, you're using it to apply for graphic design. Please tell me how you would get a job. Because what you have successfully done is show them that, I really don't have a skill set. I just want to be jumping from one place to another. And then remember that another disadvantage you might even face, aside from applying for one job here, one job there, is that you're in Africa. It is believed that the continent Africa doesn't have this. Okay, I'll put it in on a lighter terms. It is believed that we lack certain amenities, which one of them happens to be light, data, and all of that. In real sense, are they lying about that? No. But do we survive and do jobs that we need to do here? Sure, we do, because you can be in Ghana, you can be in Nigeria, you can be in Kenya, you can be in Ghana, and then you can work in Netherlands, Canada, Europe. And why does this happen? It's because at the end of the day, one thing that we forget to put into retrospect is positioning. Unless you position yourself and set yourself in a space where, if somebody looks for me, what do they find when they look at my bio? And then we have platforms that work to help us put this all together. So let me break this down. If I'm looking for job. We all know that the best place to position yourself to get certain jobs is LinkedIn, especially for those in the tech field. Is LinkedIn. What is your LinkedIn bio saying? Is it saying everything like product manager, social media manager? Like, what have you gone ahead to look at this thing and tell yourself that, oh, okay, this is the actual role I am looking for. This is what I want to look for. Because one thing we should understand is the global market is not as porous as our market. The global market is very, very specific, meaning that if you're a product manager, for example, or you're a product designer, what you have to do is realize that product design is product design. There are no two ways to it. There are no two combinations that work in it. That's why you would see certain jobs that you would say we don't get to see things like UI UX design, especially if you're looking at the global market space. What you see is UI designer. Then if you look again, you see UX designer. Notice that they are very role specific. That's why you won't see a role that says digital marketing. And somewhere in that digital marketing, you're going to see ad specialists. No, they are very specific about what they want from you. So that means that if you are going to be in this particular space, if you are going to sell yourself, you are going to go ahead to narrow down what you want to do. And another thing is you're going to have to build proofs. If you're learning anything or you're currently working on a particular skill, one advice I'll give is leave a trail for yourself. We talk about leaving digital footprint. Leave a digital footprint in that particular skill that you're doing, especially on, let's say, your social media handles, or maybe if you're going to focus on LinkedIn, leave trails so that when you have narrowed down your profile, it is now more specific. What you now do is leave trails. So an HR agent or a recruiter comes to your page and then they go back and backtrack. One thing you'll notice is recruiters go back and look. For the times I've had to work in HR, if we're done picking the people that move on to the next phase, the first thing we do is go to their social media pages. Now, it is not as a means to like, or say, we're not looking at your personal life is not our core problem. What we are looking at is what digital trail have you left, number one. And number two, are you going to be a liability to the company or you be an asset? Now, I will explain this. Liability in the sense is, what do you tweet? What do you post? What do you talk about? Now, there are certain things you might say on the internet that will contrast with what your employer is looking for, meaning that instead of them to proceed with that individual, what they'll do is, we'll just remove your CV and shift it to one corner. Because at that point, we are looking for someone that will come into a company and then not cause problem. We're looking for someone that at the end of the day, if we're employing this person, this is what we want to get this person. This is what we hope they achieve. And then in that process, we get to see those that leave trails. You now notice that, okay, this person said they've been learning this since 2021. If you go back and search on their social media page, 2021, will I actually see this? And if I see it, beautiful. It means that what you have on your CV then matches with what you actually do. And then it then becomes easier. So in this case, for positioning, you're going to have to be specific. You're going to have to build proof. And then the next they say, or the rest they say, is history, because you have successfully shown the market that, oh, this is what I can do. This is what I hope to achieve. And this is where I am going to. That's why even if you decide to check my portfolio right now, I believe that you would see the trails I left. I left quite a couple of trails so that they understand that, okay, this person is not just saying that, oh, this is it, this is that. I'm showing you what I have done, and you have seen it. And in a way, you understand that my trail in the tech industry somehow are interconnected and have led me up to the point where I am. So what is the process? How do we get to apply for these jobs? There are different platforms to apply for the jobs, and we have others coming out. We have LinkedIn, we have Jobbox, we have Jungle, we have Remote API. What do they do majorly? They post jobs. So in this case, they post actual jobs in these regions, and what you are going to do in this particular region is just apply for a job that suits you. You look at it and then you pick it. I think the first formula I would say is read the roles. One thing is your CV can be tailored to suit certain things. So instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to use one CV and apply for 20 different roles, what you're going to do is take your time. I think one issue is that most people don't take their time when applying for jobs. They just feel like, oh, why not? Let me rush through the process. What am I waiting for? And all of that. You take your time and apply for the job. Then you have to also tailor your CV to suit that particular thing. In the real sense, is what you are doing is showing like, okay, this is it though, I've done it and this is how I want to go. And in some cases, when you tailor your CV, you might also go ahead to attach a cover letter. What does cover letter do? Cover letter is more or less telling them that, oh, this is my CV, it has everything you need, but this is me telling you what I can actually do and what I'm offering to do in this company. And it's just the same thing when you do cold DMs to CEOs. You're sending them to say, oh, I've seen your company, this is what you do, I am willing to offer my service, this is how it is. One thing we have to understand with applying for jobs is sometimes it's not about the quality and quantity. I applied for 100 jobs today, I applied for 20 jobs today. No, it's about how best you apply for these jobs. It's about how best you put everything into use and the likes. So I think the next thing is you now say, oh, okay, now we're going to these regions. These people will not accept me because I am in Nigeria. These people will not accept me because I'm in Kenya. These people will not accept me because I'm in Ghana. Truth is, everything you have said, I've heard it before, but in retrospect, it is not a problem. I think one thing we have to look about our mindset is let's shift from being problem focused to solution program focused. Because you say, oh, my Nigeria email will flag me. I think if you've joined other sessions we have had, one thing we have said is on your CV, take off your address. Take off your address, take off your location. So your CV goes with just your name, your LinkedIn, your email address. If possible, in short, it's possible, take off your phone number. Why do we say that? Take off your phone number. What this does is it puts your first foot in first. If you have all of these things taken off, thing is, you're not lying about your location. And then, even if you want to apply for certain jobs, you have to look at your time zone. Currently in Nigeria, we use UTC+1, meaning that if I am going to apply to any job that will fall into my time zone, so that I'm not in a place where my job starts at 12 midnight to 8 a.m. in the morning. That means I have to be careful about the locations. It equally means that if I am applying, I'm applying to EME regions, which are UK, Germany, Netherlands. Why? We are all in the same time zone. And even if I say, okay, I don't want to apply to EME region, I want to apply to Eastern time. What do I do in Eastern time? I say, okay, in Eastern time, we have about 6 hours difference, meaning that their 8 a.m. is our 1 p.m. And it then means that if I'm working with Eastern time, I therefore have to work within 1 p.m. Nigerian time to 9 p.m. Nigerian time, which is their 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And invariably, you might say, okay, I don't have a foreign experience. I want to let you know that you don't need a foreign experience. Reason being that in the tech space, in as much as you are being asked for experience, if you have a portfolio to show your work, what they are looking at is what you can do. People are not looking at, oh, this portfolio. No, they are looking at what can you do, how would you achieve it, and what is your end goal. If they can see that, oh, this is achievable, this is how it works, then you are good. I might say, okay, I've tailored all of these, it did not work, this one, that one. I want to tell you there are ways to do it. Somebody spoke about something recently, and then I laughed because a couple of us have seen it before. You can work in Eastern time zone, and then you don't even necessarily tell them you're in Nigeria, or you're in Kenya, or you're in Ghana. Are you lying to your employers or your recruiters? No. This is the statement he made. He said, I changed my location And then I have recruiters sending me message. And what I told them is they asked me, do I have W2? W2 is more like a work permit that allows you work in US, UK, or anywhere in the world. Truth is, he doesn't have it, but he said, I do not have a W2, but I have a 1902. What does that mean? It means that it's more like the UK. UK has IRS 59 and the US has 19022, if I'm right. Yes. What it does is these are contract laws that allow you work as an independent contractor, meaning that the independent contractor market in the US and UK is very active and very booming. So even without you having a W2, once you tell a recruiter that is outside your time zone that, oh, okay, I am I'm not living in this country, because they will contact you and ask you, oh, do you stay in this country? You tell them, no, I don't stay in this country. I'm a digital nomad. A digital nomad is simply someone who moves from country to country and then they work. The idea is in position, you are saying, okay, I don't live in the United States at the moment, but I'm a digital nomad and I have most of my clients in the UK, in the US, and in the EU regions, meaning that if you need my services, I'll work for you. But I have the 1902 permit, and that is all you need. Immediately you say that, they don't need to stress so much. I'm trying to get the actual code because I put it on my phone. Yes. So it is 1099 contracts. Then for the UK, it is IRS 35. Once you say that, they'll tell you, okay, we'll get you. Now, these are independent contractors. They can contract you for 3 months. They can contract you for 4 months. And the interesting part about all of this is you don't have to worry about how you'll be paid. Why? In the African space right now, we have a lot of fintechs that allow us to receive money. We have Rainest, we have Pray, we have Clever, we have a couple. So your own job is to create an account, and then you get on the call and then tell a recruiter that, oh no, I don't stay here. I'm a digital nomad. I'm currently in Ghana. I'm currently here. The idea is you are currently telling them that, okay, I work as a contractor. So Nigeria is not going to pose as a factor to you. Because for those of us in Nigeria, we know that when you tell them, I'm a Nigerian, that is invariably the end of your job application. Because first off, Nigeria is seen to be a country that does not have lights, that does not have data. And it's then tricky working with Nigerians because for them to pay us, it becomes a hustle. And remember, there are certain laws that have been put in place to kind of limit what you do as a tech skilled worker. So that means you have to play the system and make it work in your favor. So that is it. If you say that you get a job, I lost a particular job, and that reason is very simple. The only thing, after everything, I think at that point, I didn't know. I didn't know that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to say. Because as funny as this sound, I found out about the laws that's 1902 and IRS 35 sometime in October last year. But then I'd already lost the role in September. Because fine, I was a good fit for that role. Had passed my interview stage, I'd had an interview with the CTO. I've even had an interview with the CEO. So at this point, you know that, okay, my role is clear, my part is settled. This job is me and me alone. And then he asked me a question. He said, where are you based? Instead of me to open my mouth and say, oh, I'm a digital nomad. That's what happens when you lack information. I just said, I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. And he said, okay, no problem, we'll get back to you. And they didn't get back to me in 1 week. I sent a message back. I sent an email rather. And then they're like, oh, so sorry, I've moved on with with another candidate. And I was like, oh, nice one. And before that, it had happened previously. I was not like, okay, so what is wrong? Why we're not getting this particular role? And I was discussing with a friend, and I just kept hearing, oh, I'm now working in Eastern time zone. I'm like, Eastern, how did you get into the Eastern region? And then she mentioned the whole code, the whole work permits, the contractor permit. And I was like, people should be sharing updates. At least let's know what is happening in this industry. And that is it. So it then means that, okay, if you're okay with it, you can choose Eastern time zone. Like I said, the time zones fluctuate. So you choose what works for you. and then make sure that, okay, this is what is going to work. Because I have a friend who works from 12 a.m. in the morning to 8 a.m. in the morning because of the time zone she chooses to work. And according to her, she's okay working that time zone because naturally she's a night crawler. And then aside from just having that particular job with that time zone, she also has a job in Nigeria. So you see, when I say that Nigerians are very tenacious people, we can do what we want to do as long as our mind is set on it. So that's the idea. You can then go to, we have regions you can apply to. Just make sure that, okay, whatever your time zone is, no matter how it's going to be, you're going to work with something that will favor you at the end of the day. And just take off your mind from the idea of, oh, okay, I am, how they put it, I am limited to this. No, it is a solution first, and then problem problem first, then solution next. Because the more you look at the problem, the more you're likely not to be moving. So now the next part we're looking at is, okay, zero connections. Now we have identified one thing: the global field is not somewhere that gatekeeps. You don't need to know anybody. And yes, you can change your LinkedIn location, but be very careful about that, because one mistake and your LinkedIn account is gone. And yes, like I said, position yourself. Instead of having, how do I call it, sentences, instead of trying to be a whole lot of things, I would ask you to pick one thing and do it. I would ask you to pick one thing and do it. What do I mean? Go back to your CV and edit it. Edit it and put a clear sentence. So you're going to do, I am a, maybe your CV after your name on LinkedIn, you put graphics designer. You can look for a way to switch this word and make it seem interesting. Then you can still go ahead and then ask ChatGPT, ask Claude, ask Gemini. These tools are here to help you. They're not basically here so that you can fight with it. Just let it work for you, retailor it, and then rebuild or make edits on your portfolio. The idea is, the way we write our job post or the way we write our CVs here is a little bit different from the way CVs are being written in EMA regions. They are being written in the UK, in the US. So that means that you go ahead to tailor it and then let it work. And in your portfolio, let it show that, okay, this is it. This is what I actually want. This is what I actually am looking for. Then you can now apply. Like I said, the idea of application is, it is not about quantity. It is about quality, meaning that you would take your time, look at these roles and apply for it. And then instead of wasting your time applying randomly, like I said, pick a platform. LinkedIn is a good one, but a new platform that is working well is called Jobbox. It has AI integration to where it shows you, once you upload your once you upload your CV on that particular platform, what it does is it matches you to jobs that your CV fixes up to an 80%. So if once you upload your CV on the platform, it then shows you jobs that a match to your CV by at least 80%, meaning that it then gives you more chance at you getting quality than having quantity. So you know that, okay, this is what I'm applying for. And in some cases, if you want to apply for something that your CV is let's say a 40% match, it already has the AI integrations where all you have to do is allow it to rewrite your CV to suit that particular one that's about a 60% match, so that you come up to like an 80%, 85% match, and then you can go on. Another thing you have to notice that recruiters are human beings, meaning that as long as there's an email and it feels like it has somebody, you can always go back and send a message as well to apply. And then we have what do they call it? I'm trying to remember. But We Work also allows that. Then the one for founders, YC founders, that's Y Combinator founders. You can always go back to, after sending them your application, go back and send them a message, more or less to ask, oh, I applied for this. I haven't gotten any feedback. Track your responses. It's not that, oh, I apply and I forgot. You apply so much that even by the time you get an invitation to say, okay, come and interview, you're even confused about the particular role. You start asking the recruiter that, sorry, please, what did I apply for? Most times that, I think the few times that have happened to me, I just consider you as not being serious, because I know that we are hustling, we're trying to get a lot of things done, but at the same time, know what you're applying for, so that when you send a message, you know where you're going to. Because I sent you an email saying, oh, you have qualified for so and so interview, your call is so and so time. And then an email comes back and saying, sorry, apologies, which company is this? What did I apply for? You are a banner. You are what we call a red banner. Like, not a red flag, you're a red banner, because your desperation is so much that you don't even know, okay, I am moving from here to there. And like I said, in applying to EMA regions, let them know, tell them that, oh, I'm a digital nomad. This is what I know. This is the contract that binds me. And they'll tell you, oh, I have people who are actually looking for that. You don't need to tell them I'm in Lagos. You don't need to tell a recruiter, especially when you're applying outside. You don't need to tell that recruiter that, oh, I'm in Lagos, I'm in Nigeria, I'm in Ghana, I'm in Kenya. Tell them the information that they need to know. How you work, how you make sure that light is not going to fail you, your data is not going to mess you up, you're going to deliver, is what you need. That is the only thing you need. And then I'll end by saying this. The individual I spoke about that said, oh, I've applied to over 200 jobs, I've not done this, I don't do that. Last month, he sent me a message and he said, good afternoon, ma. Thank you very much. I've been able to get a job and I'm currently working and I'm being paid in dollars. And I was like, oh, shit. It's it. That is just it. The idea is everything you do, make sure that you have a digital trail. Make sure that you tell the truth and make sure that whatever you're getting, you're going to get it and make it well. We already have bad reps for being in Africa per se. But even at the end of the day, by the time they discover that, oh, okay, this person is in Nigeria, this person is in Lagos, they cannot fire you, because over time you have proven to them that where I am doesn't matter. Where I'm working from doesn't matter. I will deliver whatever is being given to me, and then this is it. So for your zero to global hire, it's more about positioning. It's more about selling yourself. It's more about being in industry and letting people know that I know my onions. I know what I'm doing. I can deliver on any job, anywhere. Just give me, trust me, and that is all. Now, I have said a couple of things, and I hope that in all of this, you picked out something that would help you move from being zero to global hire. And if you join the training where we spoke about making money in dollars, you can earn $1,000, you can earn $5,000, you can earn $500. The decision is then up to you to make. The decision is then meant for you to wire your mindset to believe that Nigeria does not limit me, being in Africa doesn't limit me, and the global market, I do not need a connection, I do not need to know anybody. All I need in this market is to know that this is what I'm going for, this is what I hope to achieve, and that is that. So at this point, I have come to the end of my slides. If you have any questions to ask me, please go ahead. I hope you learned something new today. And for those that are currently learning the graphics design and social media skills, your skill is like, it's one of the top notch there out there. One thing you have to notice is that AI is not going to take your job, especially in design. AI is not going to take your job. AI is not going to take social media roles from you. What AI is going to do for you is make you become faster and enhance the already existing skill you have. So yes, if you have any questions for me, please go ahead and ask your question. If not, you can rate me and let me know what you learned from this session and if there's something new. And if you can still hear me, please, you can drop an emoji. Let me know that, okay, I carried everybody along from beginning till this point we currently are. So guys, okay, Shachinedu, thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, I would say. Thank you so much. So guys, do we have any questions? If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask your question. Go ahead and ask your question. I believe you have questions, so I believe you have questions. So we don't have any questions like this. Did I successfully confuse or convince you? Which one did I do, please? Okay. Hi, Obina. Go ahead.
Good evening, all.
Good
Are you hearing
evening.
me? Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
okay. Yeah, I've been hearing about interviews, your CVs and all of that.
Yeah.
Um, honestly, I don't know how I'm feeling now, but I'm always happy and grateful for Top Universe because I mean, where I am at the moment is just um the kind of people God used to bless Top Universe. But what I'm saying now, based on my question there is, if you're talking about um, kind of positioning yourself
Yes.
to get um, a better, um, let's say, a better, um, how will I put it now? So
So
that you
better
can
way.
get a better opportunity and also a better pay because definitely you are upskilling. But what
Yes.
I'm trying to say here is, you know, I actually had an interview that that that's a job interview of recent in Ibadan.
Okay.
So though there was kind of questions that we are throwing, Top Universe was actually at the forefront of those questions
Okay.
because it was every questions were centered on Top Universe. Even they went to the extent of, are you working with them? Like, I mean, that the CV is so brilliant that I mean, how come that you had only probably few works on your project? Okay, why is it there is a project on, let's say, what's that last project we did? Um, the project on the e-commerce site that we did.
Yes.
So why is it that project? What happened? How are you working with them? I said no. But definitely what happened there was um, the whole project was the fact that we had issues with one or two. Let me not just go into details. But what
All
I'm
right.
saying here is my question there all lies in when you are talking about your location.
Yes.
Because you are now saying that when they asked me, are you working with them? I said no, but had to point few projects that we did together. Then they
Yeah.
said, okay, where is your location? So, and I told them I'm in Port Harcourt. So my question there is, since I did not lie, I told them I'm not in Lagos, and I gave
Yes.
them my real location.
Yes.
Now, you understand? Is it
Yes.
same thing with you when okay, yes, I think it's not because you already said it. That is not same when you are asked your location when applying for roles outside the
Yeah.
country. But does this really affect your job placement while looking for jobs within
Okay.
the country?
Okay. I would say this. So when looking for jobs within the country, there are certain things that come to play, right? One thing I would like to say is I would say this. I'm looking for jobs within the country. what you should be looking for is remote, especially if you're not in that particular location. Make sure that the job you're applying for is remote. And then if it's in Nigeria, you can go ahead to apply. When they ask you, just tell them your location. It's then easy because you're currently in Nigeria and that job is in Nigeria and they need it to be a remote session. So that is fine. You can go ahead and tell them, oh, I'm in Nigeria, I'm based in Port Harcourt. That is very fine. But in cases where you're applying outside, now, your country alone, sorry, Nigeria, Kenya, and certain parts of the world alone, especially in Africa, it's more like it's a red flag. And we, to an extent, we understand why this is happening. So when you tell them that, oh, I applied for a job, it's in Dubai, and I had to be on that call to be like talk. Now, remember, I've taken off my location for my CV. I've taken off my phone number for my CV. So even if you go and look for me in LinkedIn, all right, you see Nigeria. But there are days that I have a portfolio that is shown to recruiters. That portfolio has no location on it. It is very specific. It has no location on it. So by the time I get my the interview and I'll tell you that, oh, I'm a digital nomad. Where are you currently? I'm currently in Ghana. Did I lie about my location? No, really. But I said I'm in Ghana. But when you now ask me, I started with I'm a digital nomad. It then throws them off balance in the sense that, okay, this person travels a lot, she moves a lot. So can she deliver our job in moving a lot? Yes. So then I asked you the next question. Do you have permits to work in the US? And I'm like, no, I don't have a W2 permit, but I work under the 1902 permit. And they'll be like, oh, okay, so you're a contractor, because the laws around you, 1902 is purely contract, is purely freelancers. And there are companies that hire freelancers and contractors. So they'll be like, oh, okay. Since you're a contractor, I have other clients that would like to work with you. Are you available for an interview? It is then your job for that particular interview to make sure that your village people cannot find you. Sorry, I'm using that word. So that day, if it means you're going to subscribe on 3 different what they call it, 2 different network lines, go ahead and do that subscription. Whatever it takes to make sure that, okay, you're going to be in a lighted room, there's not going to be noise, your network is not going to go off and on, it's fine. Because one thing you also have to notice that these people also have network issues. Theirs is not as bad as ours, but they also do. So it's just telling the truth, but not being straightforward with the truth. So it's still the truth because you are not lying. Will you deliver? Yes. But then just have to put it in ways that works for you majorly. I think that kind of answers your question, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just it. The idea is position yourself in such a way that they won't doubt you. They will believe that what she's doing makes sense, and or what he is doing is all right. I can work with this person. So if you can, my friend worked, I'll just give a brief history. She's in Warri, that she's not even in Lagos. She has been working as a product designer for over 6 years. And the first job she got was a remote job. Then, we don't even know about all of this, or 1902 independent contractors. And she works 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then she has a Nigerian job. She has been working that job for the past 6 years. When they finally realized she was in Nigeria, was 4 years into her job role. And why did they know that she was in Nigeria? Reason was they are doing an update in the company where they get to send them new laptops and a couple of things. I think there was a change in management and they said, okay, everybody should have a company laptop. They should set up they were releasing funds for workspace setup. And then for those of them that are working, they had to file it. And where she was even caught was the fact is they are sending the laptop. So they are sending the laptop, they are sending the mesh and everything. You now have to put in your address where you are. All this while, she has been using a payment platform to receive her payment, so there has been no issue. But now, because of that singular thing, she had to file in Nigeria. She was called in for another interview, funny enough, because yes, HRO is like, Nigeria, because yes, we have our tags. And she went. But this is somebody that has worked with them for the past 4 years. And in 4 years, she had no issue. She had delivered on her tax. She's good at what she does. Did they send her details? Yes, they did. They sent it to her because they know that for her to be working for over 4 years, she's not caring about the time zone, always turning up in work, joining office calls and working actively for those hours. She cannot be fired at this point now because she's in Nigeria. They really have not had any issues. They sent her a mesh, they sent her a setup, they paid her money usual, and she's good and she's still there. So it's then position yourself, and that is all you need. Basically, that is all you need. You are not selling a lie, you are telling the truth because you own your skill. So do that. Just do what you need to do. So yes, Emmanuel is saying, please can you give us a list of job links where you can get jobs outside Nigeria or outside our region? Yes, there are a couple of them. You have Indeed, you have Jobbox, you have LinkedIn, you have a different set. I don't have so much time on this call. I would have said, okay, maybe we'll have another training session where we talk about how to search for jobs on different platforms and how to look for it. But the minute you check for remote jobs, EMA, on Google, you have a long list to work with. You then select what you want. Yes. So who has any other question? Any other question? Any other question?
How do you see referrals on your resume? Is it necessary?
It's not necessary. You can take it off. Referrals are only necessary if you're in Nigeria or in the African job market. In the Western world, you really don't need referrals. You can take it out. It's not important. Okay, do we have any other questions? Ask questions. I might have missed something, guys. Ask your questions. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I believe that we have learned one or two things. We've picked up something that will help us improve what we learn. And I think that is very good for us. Now, if you are in the 1 week training for social media and graphic design, remember that your last class is going to be on Monday, where we'll wrap up everything that we have learned so far. And we'll talk about the business of design, talk about the business of social media, we'll talk about how to price yourself and how to create your portfolio in such a way that you're able to stand out and make more money. So that being said, thank you very much for joining this session. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on Monday. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can always drop it on the group and we'll pick it up from there. Bye, everyone. Thank you.